You know, when most people picture Krillin, they probably think, short guy, bald, dies a lot.
Yeah, that's kind of the stereotype, isn't it? The running gag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if that's all you see, honestly, you are missing out.
Yeah.
Big time. We're talking about one of the most uh, genuinely incredible arcs of resilience in all of Dragon Ball.
Absolutely. Just boiling him down to like comic relief or the weaker friend, it completely overlooks his depth, his vital contributions. He's way more than just a sidekick.
Which is why today we're doing a real deep dive, not just on a human fighter, no.
Right.
We're dissecting this legend of perseverance. We're kind of going on an odyssey here, tracking his whole evolution.
From day one, right.
Right from his first appearance all the way through Super. And our mission really is to trace that unique journey. You know, his growth, his resilience, highlighting that unwavering courage he has and the surprising impact he makes. We want to show he's one of the true hearts of Dragon Ball.
And we've pulled together quite a bit for this. Looked at the manga, the anime, some of the supplemental guides too, digging into character stuff.
Yeah, trying to get the core insights for you. Because the question is, how does this guy, who's almost always outmatched power-wise, keep showing up, keep mattering so much?
That's exactly what we're getting into. It's a fascinating question.
Okay, so let's dive in. Where does it all start? Not on some alien world, not with some divine prophecy.
Nope. It starts with a little monk, a kind of mischievous one, showing up wanting to train with Master Roshi.
Right. He arrives at Kame House, same time as Goku, basically,
Mm-hmm.
both looking for that legendary training. And if you remember those early days, it wasn't instant best buds, was it?
No, not at all. Krillin was pretty cunning back then. Bit of a trickster.
Oh, totally. He was trying to outsmart Goku, even Roshi, or even trying to bribe the turtle.
Yeah. Or using those little tricks to get ahead in training, like finding the marked stone Roshi through.
He was definitely looking for shortcuts. It showed, you know, he wasn't maybe as pure-hearted as Goku right off the bat.
Yeah.
Had a bit of a self-interested edge.
Exactly. But what's really cool is how fast that changes, that shared struggle, Roshi's insane training.
Oh, man, the milk delivery, dodging bees, plowing fields by hand.
Right. Enduring all that ridiculous, genuinely tough stuff together. That's what forged the bond. They started as rivals, maybe even a bit suspicious of each other. But that shared experience locked in this friendship, and it becomes just foundational for everything that comes after. It really shows how struggle brings people together.
And you see his core traits forming then. He is brave, definitely. He steps into those tournaments, faces guys stronger than him.
Even early on, yeah.
But he's also scared sometimes, and he shows it, which makes his bravery feel more
Right.
relatable.
Totally relatable. And he's smart, too. You see it in the early tricks, sure, but also how quickly he picks up techniques.
And that capacity for friendship we mentioned, it becomes his defining thing, especially his loyalty to Goku.
He was also the funny one, which is important for the show's feel, but maybe sometimes overshadows that he was a really dedicated student when he needed to be.
Oh, absolutely. He wasn't just messing around. The sources point out he learned the Kamehameha pretty quick, right?
Yeah, faster than you might expect. He proved that even without, alien blood or special potential just being human, he had the discipline and the talent to be a serious martial artist.
So that early time is just crucial. It sets up everything. The cleverness, the fear mixed with courage, that deep loyalty, and his potential to grow.
And that connection with Goku, not just friends. It's a bond that literally changes the universe later.
Which kind of catapults us out of martial arts tournaments and into,
Yeah.
well, planetary threats. Saiyans arrive, then Frieza. Krillin's role shifts, maybe, but his importance doesn't fade one bit.
No way. This is where that unwavering loyalty gets seriously tested.
Think about the Saiyan Saga. You've got Nappa and Vegeta showing up. Power levels just off the charts compared to anything they'd seen.
Unfathomable, really. And Krillin, a human, stands his ground. He knows he's massively outclassed. The fear must have been, crippling.
When he stays, he doesn't run. And that's not fearlessness, that's courage, right? Acting despite the fear. For his friends, for Earth.
It's a different flavor of courage than Goku's, maybe? Goku often seems excited by the challenge.
Yeah, he thrives on it.
Krillin seems to face it with dread, knowing the odds, but he does it anyway. And his contributions are still vital, even if he's not landing the finishing blow. He uses his head, uses his technique strategically.
Right, like the solar flare, that blinding flash of light. Seems simple.
But it's brilliant. Against enemies relying on sight, or just to create chaos, It buys precious seconds, time to move, regroup, maybe land a hit.
Or delivering senzu beans.
Yeah.
In the middle of those insane battles, that's not a small thing. That's life-saving support.
Absolutely critical. But then, Namek. That saga, arguably, pushes Krillin to his absolute limit. Frieza's power is just beyond anything.
He sees friends die, the planet getting torn apart. He's constantly in danger.
His determination there, facing the Jinyu Force, facing Frieza himself, you can feel it in the source material. He suffers, physically and mentally, a lot. And yet he keeps trying, keeps finding ways to fight back, however small.
And we got to talk about the Destructo Disc moment, his signature move, that razor-sharp energy thing.
Shinzo.
Yeah. Against Frieza, one of his earlier forms, Krillin actually slices off his tail with it.
Okay, Frieza regenerates it pretty quick, but still, that moment is huge.
Why huge?
Because it highlights Krillin's intelligence and technique over just raw power. Some sources suggest that Destructo Disc has this unique cutting ability. It can potentially hurt opponents way stronger if it hits right.
So it's about precision, timing.
Exactly, not just brute force. The fact he could land that on Frieza, even just the tail, proved his skill mattered on that cosmic level. Technique trumping power for a second.
But then comes a moment that changes everything. Frieza just murders him right in front of Goku, that horrible explosive death.
And this is where you see Krillin's ultimate importance crystallize. That death wasn't just another casualty.
No.
It was the trigger. The final push. Goku's rage, seeing his best friend, the guy he started training with, killed so brutally, that is what ignites Super Saiyan.
So the insight here is deeper than just Krillin died. He wasn't just collateral damage for Goku becoming Super Saiyan. His death was the reason Goku could become Super Saiyan.
It was the specific emotional key needed, his life, and how it ended. It had such immense weight. It literally altered the power balance of the universe, going from that tricky little monk to that incredible impact.
Wow, yeah. Okay, so moving past those universe-shattering fights, we see another big evolution for Krillin. Androids, Cell, then later Boo.
Right, he shifts again. Less frontline warrior maybe, and more Earth's protector in a really personal way. He becomes a family man.
And honestly, who saw that coming? Krillin and Android 18.
Totally unexpected. But one of the most genuinely beloved pairings in the whole series, right?
Definitely. Their marriage, having their daughter Marin,
yeah,
it just adds this whole new layer to him.
It grounds him completely. While Goku and Vegeta are off doing, insane training or hitting new power levels,
Krillin's building a life, raising a kid. It shows a different kind of resilience, doesn't it? Finding peace, finding stability, when your world could literally end any Tuesday.
And even though he wasn't always in the main spotlight during the big fights then, his role was still vital. He didn't just hang up his kid.
No, the sources show he was still involved.
Yeah, often as like an information hub. He was connected to what was happening on Earth, the needs of his family, still the reliable Senzu Bean guy, rushing into danger like at the Cell games to heal people. And in a way, being a husband and father gave him this important perspective, this moral compass. He was fighting to protect this ordinary life, reminding everyone what was actually at stake beyond just the next big battle.
And you still see that dedication. He's totally committed to 18 and Marin, but he keeps up his training. Quietly.
He even jumps in against a Cell Jr., knowing he's outmatched but doing it anyway to buy time or protect the others.
Shows that core courage never left.
Just adapted. Exactly. So this whole period really emphasizes that his story isn't just about power levels. It's personal. It's meaningful. He's the relatable hero, finding strength in relationships and responsibility. It shows even supporting characters can have these incredibly rich, important arcs.
Which then leads us into the more recent stuff. Dragon Ball Super.
And you might think, okay, now we're dealing with gods of destruction, multiple universes. How can a human fighter possibly keep up?
Right. What relevance could he possibly have? But Krillin absolutely proves he's still an enduring warrior.
He really does. There was that bit in Resurrection F, right, against Frieza's army.
Yeah, a strong showing. He held his own against soldiers who would have been a serious threat back in the day. It was a good reminder, hey, Krillin's still got it.
But the Tournament of Power, wow. That's where he shines again, maybe more than ever as a pure strategist, using skill over strength.
Definitely. I mean, he's surrounded by fighters from other universes, beings with power levels that dwarf his by astronomical amounts.
So how does he compete? How does a human survive, let alone contribute, in that kind of arena? And Krillin shows us, you fight smarter, not just harder. He used his speed, always one of his assets, to dodge and weave. He used the Destructo Disc's unique properties effectively.
And that powered-up solar flare, the I-100 version.
Right, blinding even god-tier opponents, apparently.
Yep.
Creating openings for his team for Universe 7.
He actually knocked out several fighters in that tournament, didn't he? It wasn't about trading blows.
No, it was about ring-outs, using the arena, exploiting weaknesses, working with his team, his strategy, his quick thinking, his refined techniques. That was his power level in the Tournament of Power.
What's really compelling is just his resilience there, his cleverness, on a stage where, logically, he shouldn't have lasted 5 minutes.
He wasn't just hiding either. He was actively helping, using his unique skills to benefit the team. That arc absolutely cements him, not just a survivor, but a true martial artist who never stops learning, never stops refining his skills. An invaluable team player, even against gods.
He really embodies that idea that smarts and heart can stand up to overwhelming power. So when you look at the whole journey, starting as that tricky, kind of fearful monk, evolving into the loyal friend who faced down literal monsters and triggered Super Saiyan, then becoming this grounded family man, this anchor, and finally re-emerging as this tactical fighter competing on a universal stage, Krillin's path is it's one of the most complete and compelling in the whole series.
It really is. It's such a powerful statement about the human spirit, you know? In a universe packed with Saiyans and Namekians and gods, he's the ultimate underdog, always facing opponents way stronger, but finding ways to not just survive, but to actually matter.
Yeah, he reminds you that heroism isn't just for the ridiculously powerful.
Exactly. His strength isn't from some special bloodline or magic. It comes from his heart, from choosing courage when he's terrified, from that unbreakable loyalty. And just quiet persistence, never giving up on getting better.
He really is one of Dragon Ball's most beloved, most enduring, maybe most unsung heroes.
And his story hits home because it's relatable, right? Most of us aren't the strongest person in the room. But Krillin shows you can still stand tall, still fight for what matters, and your courage, your kindness, it can make a huge difference, even a universe-altering difference.
So thinking about all this, we'd love to hear from you, the listener. What moment really defines Krillin for you after tracing this whole journey?
Or maybe considering his strategic mind, his techniques. Do you think he represents the peak of what a human can achieve in Dragon Ball in a way that pure power levels just don't capture?
Yeah, let us know your thoughts. Share your appreciation for Earth's bravest warrior. We're genuinely curious what part of his legend sticks with you.
I definitely want to hear about that.
And just remember this as you go about your day. When it comes to heart, when it comes to courage, size really, really doesn't matter.